Hey, what's up guys? I am finally done with this project. This was a 5-part, and then there was a couple other videos on the recessed lights and the speakers. If you haven't checked those out, they're gonna be in the comment section, or excuse me, in the description section, so make sure to check these out. Let me show you the finished product and how I got here. Excuse the mess, I have not set this up yet. I'm gonna put a TV out here maybe. We haven't decided yet. I might repaint the stucco here, do different things with it. Anyways, here we go. So this is the finished project. I have my soffit in here. This is the tongue and groove. Here I got the coffered ceiling set up here because that's where I'm gonna put the ceiling fan. Lights, speaker. All right, let me show you how I installed this tongue and groove. What you'll need for this part is some J channels and a vented soffit. Vented soffits come in 12-inch by 12 or by 16 or whatever, but typically what you're gonna get from a Lowe's or a Home Depot is a 12 inches or 1 foot by 12 feet. J channels, again, standard stuff. This is what a J channel looks like profile wise, so it looks like a J. And again, it's because we're mounting them up. If we were mounting them on the side, you will need what they call an F channel, which basically looks like an F, so you can plug your soffit in. I'm using 1 1/4 inch galvanized, hot dip galvanized roof nails. This is overkill, but that's what I have in the shop, and I'm just gonna use that. You can do 1 inch, perfectly fine. Pair of snips, you can go ahead and use a table saw, you could use a chop saw, use a circular saw. For me, I don't do this work often. I have 1 run to make, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my snips. What I did here is just quickly, I measured the distance that I need, or the width of the soffit that I need, which for me was 7 inches. What I did here is I just set up a stop, and I set up my 7 inches right here, so that way I just butt the soffit to it. I make my mark, and I use the speed square to square it, and then just go ahead and snip it. Alright guys, so to attach, let's say this piece, if this piece was already up, so you put this end first, and then this end is what's going to overlap. So in this case, assume this is already up on the ceiling. What you do is you just plug this guy towards the back, bring it down, and then pull it in. So again, when we go to put it here, that's the strategy that we're going to use. So this piece is exposed, and we're going to overlap this piece to it. Now if you were to put this piece against, you'll see that there's no room to put it in, but there's wiggle room in the channels. So what you want to do is line up that end like that and push it in, and you see how it touches the channel here. So you simply push the channel out and push this in. And now you go back to here and push this in like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and basically just keep going. Just wanted to point out how I am doing, how I'm installing the J channel on a flat surface. So if I were to do this, that doesn't make any sense because the opening is up here. So this gotta be like this. And so all I'm doing is I'm bending this all the way back. Here's one I already completed. Okay, so here there's really no right or wrong. You're just basically gonna bend this open. See, we already kind of have that profile now, and I just gotta nail this in. One other thing worth mentioning, guys, I am also using a stapler. This is a stainless steel crown stapler. So I'm using this between the nails. So I would nail every 2 or 3 feet, and then I'll do a couple of staples in just to tighten everything in place. You're gonna try to line this up so it's even with the other J channel, and staple it in, or nail it in. Now, before I installed this, I went ahead and measured on how to cut this piece of soffit, and all I did is basically line it up to where it's gonna sit. And then you see right here, I made a mark of where I'm gonna cut. Then I'll tuck it in to the side and kind of see where I need to make that cut. And then I'll transfer this line to where my cut starts and ends. So essentially this piece gotta come out, and that should fit right in. And you just keep going until you're done. I actually ran out of soffit, so I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna move on to the tongue and groove. So I went ahead and got a bunch of pine tongue and groove. I'm going to treat this. Cedar would be the best choice here, but that's super expensive. For my purposes, I'm okay using this. You can use something more durable or whatever, that's up to you. For treatment, I got this Thompson water seal. I've used this before and I've had good results with it. Next, you just go ahead and measure the length that you need to cut the pieces. And guys, the final step after I install tongue and groove is to put in my hi-hats or recessed lighting, the speaker, whatever else. Just make sure you mark where your lines are, your wires, once you install those pieces, just so you know where to go in and make those holes for the light. So for example, as I come up here with a piece, I'm gonna mark that there's a wire here. Just put a masking tape or whatever, just so you have a point of reference. All right guys, the next part is to go ahead and nail this up. I'm using battery powered nailer. You could obviously use a compressor one or whatnot. All right, so that last piece was a pain. I had to take my oscillating tool and just shave off a bit off the back. But anyways, I just want to show you that you got to make sure that these are nice and tight together. As I get closer to the wiring, that's where I'm gonna mark up for where I need to then come in and use my hole saw or whatever. Hey guys, so in full disclosure, I originally started to stain the planks one by one, and that quickly became tedious and time consuming. So I decided to go ahead and hang everything, and then I'll come back with a nap and roll everything, and I'll use a brush to go in between. All right guys, so to stain the ceiling, what I'm using is a 6-inch nap. I'm going to show you that in a second. It's the purple stuff. I'll put the picture here for you to check that out. Now that the stain is on, you're gonna wait for, I want to say, I don't know, about like 30 seconds or something like that, just for the stain to kind of set a little bit, and then you're gonna go in with one of these guys and then work it in. Now that I have this up, I want to point out a couple of things. This is where this comes in handy. You see how I overlapped on the ones that are already stained, and you don't want that. So right away you want to come in with this guy and just go ahead and work that in. You want to make sure as much of it is worked in as possible so you don't have odd dark spots. Do the same thing with the new stuff right here on the plank that's completely, or the board that's completely unstained yet. Just work it in, kind of like feather it in. Once that part is done, then now that had enough time, the new stain had enough time to sit, then you go in with your sponge and you just work it all in. Just like that. Now the reason why I do that is because I don't want this texture. I want it to be smooth like this. Here's the finished product. And that's it guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, only way to support it. And guys, if you have not seen the other parts of this video, like I said, they will be in the description below, so make sure to check those out. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. See you guys on the next one.